Jen, an American socialite, is secretly involved with a French millionaire named Richard. The two travel to his remote home in the Moroccan desert for a weekend getaway before his annual hunting trip with friends Stan and Dimitri. Upon arrival, Richard receives a gift of peyote from his helicopter pilot, Roberto. They lounge by the pool, sip champagne, and flirt like they're the only two people in the world. However, his plans for a private retreat with Jen are disrupted when Stan and Dimitri arrive a day earlier than expected. From the moment they arrive, the vibe shifts. Stan, in particular, can't keep his eyes off Jen. Though initially displeased, Richard joins them for a night of drinking and dancing, while Jen secretly hides the peyote in her necklace. The next morning, while Richard is away, Stan corners Jen and tries to coerce her into sleeping with him, insisting she had flirted with him the night before. When she refuses, he assaults her as Dimitri chooses to look the other way. Upon Richard's return, he scolds Stan, but then attempts to bribe Jen into staying silent about the incident. When she demands to be taken home, Richard refuses, leading Jen to flee into the desert. The men pursue her, eventually trapping her at the edge of a cliff. Pretending to call for a pilot to pick her up, Richard instead shoves her off the cliff, where she is impaled on a tree during the fall. Believing her to be dead, the three men leave her behind and proceed with their hunting trip as if nothing happened. Regaining consciousness, Jen uses her lighter to ignite the tree, burning through the branch and freeing herself, though a broken limb remains lodged in her side. She stumbles through the desert in search of safety, while the men realize she has survived and split up to track her down. That evening, Jen comes across Dimitri by a river as he relieves himself. She attempts to shoot him with his own shotgun, but discovers it is not loaded. Dimitri retaliates by trying to drown her, but she manages to grab his hunting knife and stab him in both eyes. He bleeds out in the water, and Jen takes his knife, gun, and supplies. Finding refuge in a cave, Jen consumes the peyote to numb her pain before extracting the branch from her body. She then cauterizes the wound using the heated aluminum of a beer can, branding herself with its Phoenix logo. Haunted by nightmares of the men hunting her, she resolves to strike first. The next morning, after Richard and Stan dispose of Dimitri's body, Richard orders Stan to track Jen down in his SUV. While navigating the rough terrain, Stan runs out of fuel just as Jen has him in her sights. She shoots him in the shoulder as he attempts to refill the tank. The two engage in a long-range gunfight, during which Stan manages to shoot off part of Jen's right earlobe. However, she outmaneuvers him, tricking him into stepping on a jagged shard of glass. Injured but desperate, Stan tries to run her down with the SUV, but Jen ultimately kills him with Dimitri's shotgun and takes the vehicle for herself. Meanwhile, Richard returns to the house, calls for the helicopter, and takes a shower. Hearing an unexpected noise, he searches the property for Jen but finds nothing. Just as he lets his guard down, she confronts him and shoots him in the stomach. A frantic chase ensues throughout the house as both exchange gunfire. Richard gains the upper hand, knocking Jen unconscious with his shotgun before attempting to strangle her. In a final act of defiance, she thrusts her hand into his open wound, forcing him to release her. Regaining control, she retrieves her weapon and delivers a fatal shot to his chest. Covered in blood, but victorious, Jen steps outside, turning back as the sound of the approaching helicopter fills the air. What do you think was the most intense moment in Revenge? Was it Jen's survival tactics, the long-range gunfight, or the final showdown with Richard? Let me know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.